So if we remember back, we've done standard form, we've done slope-intercept, and now we are finally on point-slope form. So it's y minus y1, the slope, and x minus x1, okay? So we know when we do slope-intercept form, we're looking for the slope, we're looking for the intercept. In standard form, we're looking for the x and y intercept, right? So in point-slope form, we are looking to pull out of the original problem the slope and a point, right? So keeping that in mind, let's read the problem. Highlight if you have to. So you are designing a sticker to advertise your band. So you need to print bulk. A company is going to charge you $225 for the first 1,000 stickers. So you want 1,000 stickers? Awesome. Give us $225, you get 1,000 stickers. If you want more after the 1,000, we'll charge you only $80 for every additional 1,000 you want. Okay, so you understanding this here? Write an equation in point-slope form. Then it's going to say convert it to slope-intercept form, because that's really the most useful way, thing to do things. To help you find the total cost of the stickers as a function of the number of stickers ordered. That's a lot of words. It sounds like, holy cow, write this as a function of that. It just means write it in point-slope form, okay? And we're going to talk about what in thousands mean. And then, I asked you that final question. Once you get your equation, and then this is the question. How much for 9,000 stickers? Okay. Lots of info. So let's kind of just highlight what we think we need to know. We are looking for the slope. Does anybody kind of see what they think the slope would be? Because I'm looking at a lot of numbers. I'm looking at 225, 1,000, 80, 9,000. What's our slope? What is our rate of change? And I know what you're thinking. You're looking for a y-intercept. You're not going to find it looking at the problem. You're not going to find it. I know you're thinking that the y-intercept might be 225. It's starting there. It's not. So they're charging you 80 for every additional, right? So for every 1,000 that you purchase after that, it's going up 80. Then another 80. Then another 80. So your slope in this problem is 80. So now I'm looking for a point. So before I can do that, I kind of have my x and my y. And we want to think about our dependent and our independent. You don't have to make a table for today. Today is not a table or a graph. So you're kind of lucky. It's neither. But this kind of helps you think about what to make the x and what to make the y. I will give you a huge hint. Usually when you're talking about time, right? Time is your x. Number of days, number of weeks, number of hours. Well, we don't have time in here, do we? So if you don't have time, then you identify your x and your y by the x is the number of things you're getting. The y is what you're paying for that. So your y is almost always going to be your cost. Because your cost is going to equal and depend on how many stickers you get, right? So this is going to be the number of stickers, or the number of apps, or the number of texts you send, or the number of books you need to buy, right? So that's what x is going to be. So up here I want you to write number of stickers, and your y is your cost. Autumn, will you grab that door when you have a chance? So I'm looking for an ordered pair from this problem that's already there that gives me the number of stickers and the cost for that number of stickers. Do you see it anywhere? Anastasia? Yep. 225 for 1,000. Okay, now stop for a second because I want you to highlight or circle or whatever that. If you've ever seen what that means before, I know you've seen graphs before where they'll give you a graph and they'll say 1, 2, 3, except over here they'll put in millions. Have you heard that? So that says 3, but it really means 3 million. They're just not going to write 1 million, 2 million on the graph, right? So this is kind of the same deal. So instead of writing and dealing with, in my problem, 1,000, I'm just going to put 1, comma, 225. Does that make sense? So not one sticker costs $225 because that's in thousands. 1,000 stickers cost you $225, and then each additional is 80 after. So there we go. We have all the info we need, right? We found the slope, we found the point, and now we know how to do the rest. So we put this information in point slope. So say y minus, this is the y, is equal to 80 times x minus 1. Okay, now after it's in point slope, you kind of look at it and go, what do I do from here? The best thing to do when it's in point slope is to put it in the form that you know best, and that is slope-intercept. And to do that, you do? Yep, you distribute, right? And that's like this test. Remember that? So that's why I taught you this, because you need to be able to take point slope and say, okay, now this is it in point slope-intercept. Okay. So now that we have it in slope-intercept form, I want you to stop for a minute and think about that. From the information given to us in the problem, was there any way of you knowing that the y-intercept, their initial fee was $145? There's no way. Like when I used to order cross-country shirts, I would have to call, Trenton Sports or Monroe Varsity Sports, and there was always an artwork fee. So if I wanted them to draw up new artwork, so it must cost $145 for them to design the sticker, right? And then after that, so do you see where that $145 comes from? So it's really important for you to take it from point slope to slope intercept to get that. So if we're looking for what are you getting points for? You're getting points for the correct point slope. You're getting point for putting it in the correct slope intercept. And back to like we did for the last two word problems, when we have it in slope intercept, that's when we actually start to answer the question. Yes? So you're seeing how these are all very much related? So now, how much would it cost for 9,000 stickers? Okay? So the dilemma you are facing now is, shoot, where do I put the 9? Well, first of all, am I going to put in 9,000 or 9? I'm just going to use 9, right? Because everything is already in thousands. So am I going to put the 9 here or here? Well, that's where it's helpful to kind of know that I could have written this equation as my y is cost. That's going to be equal to $80 per 1,000 of stickers plus 145. And here's just a huge hint. Your y is always the cost. So if it's a cost, put it here. If it's a number of items that you're getting, put it here. So I'm going to say my cost will equal $80. I'm just going to do times 9. You'll see how I wrap it up in a minute. My cost is going to be $720 plus 145. So that'll be $865. And my final point is going to come from what? What can I put here right now? 9,000 stickers will cost $865. Okay? So, 1, 2, 3 points. So did you follow what we did? We found the slope, we found the point. We put it into point slope. We made it slope intercept. And then once it's in slope intercept, you know the drill from there. And it always ends with an ordered pair, right? Okay? All right, so now let's say you decide to shop around because your band is on a budget. So you want to get as many stickers for as little money as possible. So there's another company. So let's say this is company A, this is company B. They're going to charge you a little more for that first 1,000. So $25 more, $250 as opposed to $225. But then for every additional 1,000 you want, they're only going to charge you $60. So write an equation that would represent that company. So go ahead and do that now. This time instead of 80, it's 60. And for 1,000 stickers, it's a little more. Okay? So the question then is, let's write this. Okay, this is your first point. One of these two is your second if you want to, put it cost in stickers. Okay, so I got that equation. So they charge a little more for their artwork, okay, but the charge per 1,000 is a little cheaper. So the question is, if you want 9,000 stickers, which company should you go with? Figure it out. Yep, find out. So what would you do? You would put 9 in here for S, for stickers, just like we put it in up here. That point or slope-intercept form equation will help you with everything. So it looks like even though they charge you a little more to start, because you're ordering 9,000, you're saving $20 for every 1,000 that you purchase after that. So $865 as opposed to this. So I would go with company B. Okay, does this make sense? All right, now that's the gist of how you're going to do these. However, when we get to the back, we're going to encounter a little problem. So, always important to read the full problem before you try to do anything. So let's just read it. You want to go to a ranch, a working ranch, so just kind of relax and go to Colorado and hang out. And this is the table for the number of people that are in your party and how much it costs. Okay? So the first thing right off the bat is I'm not given the slope like I was in the first one, right? Okay? I got to find it. And luckily for you, I've taught you all kinds of ways to do that, right? So that's the first thing, is I don't know the slope. I have to find it. The second thing is, instead of them just giving me 1 point, they gave me 5. Right? Isn't this the point? Isn't this 4, 250? Isn't this your X, the number of people, and isn't Y your cost? So this is your X and your Y. So what do? I need that slope. Any ideas how I can find it? I know 2 or 3 off the top of my head, and I'm hoping that you will also remember them. How can I find the slope? How can I find how much it is for 1? And I had a good suggestion first hour, but it doesn't work all the time. They just said divide 450 by 8, divide 350 by 6, divide 550 by 10. And when I did, I got 450 for 8 people. Oh, it's $56.25 per person. So then 550 divided by 10 should give me the same amount, but it doesn't. So that doesn't work when it's not proportional, when it's not 0-0, which means there is some kind of a deposit that they have to pay. So that's why that throws that all off. So how could I find it, Kayla? Yes, very good. The y minus the y divided by the x minus the x. That's great. That's actually the harder way that I didn't expect anybody to come up with. There is another easier way, but I like that because you're going to have to use that one down here. You just did this yesterday on your bell work. Oh, yes. Is it because it's not a vertical chart? I mean, you just did this. I know that you know how to find the slope because you did it yesterday. You said for every one that this is going up, this is going up too. So, Anastasia? Yes. Did everybody hear what she said? For every 2 people that are added to your party, the cost goes up 100. But I don't want to know how much for 2. I want to know how much for 1. So your slope is 50. I want to show you what Kayla meant because you're going to need that next. So I looked at this and it was an easy boom, boom, boom. 2, 2, 2, 100, 100, 100, boom. Divide, I got it. But if I took 4, 250 and 6, 350, I just want to show you that 350 minus 250 is where you came up with your 100, right? And 6 minus 4 is where you came up with your 2. So it's really the same way. It's just one way you're able to do it in your head, and the other way you may have to show it. Okay, so here's the other thing. I got my slope. I need a point. Hey, why work with big numbers when you can work with littler ones? I mean, you're going to use a calculator anyway, but what I need you to know is you pick whichever point you want. If 5 of you pick 5 different points and plug it in, you're still going to get the same slope-intercept equation. Do you understand that? It shouldn't matter, okay? So I'm just going to pick 4, 250 because it's the smallest one. So all that, and now I'm ready to start the problem, right? So it took a little bit of work. So now I know that y minus 250 is equal to 50 times x minus 4, right? Are you okay with that point slope, putting that there? So go ahead and do what you know how to do. I hate when they make it the same. So C, cost, is going to be $50 per person plus a $50 deposit fee. Or a lot of times you have to give these places like a cleaning fee because they have to clean up after you when you leave and hire a cleaner. So $50 before you even set foot on the ranch. And then $50 per person. And then we'll always end with our question, right? So now that you have it all good to go, are you okay with this? Where do I put 20? In for C for cost or P for people? It's 20 people. So my costs will be $50 per person. And if I have 20, don't forget about that initial cleaning fee. So you have cost is equal to 1,000 plus 50. So now my ordered pair, and what is that? It's, oh, we forgot to do this. People, comma, cost. So for 20 people, it's, yep, got it. So you will get 1 point, 2 points, 3 points. Following me? Okay, and then the last example. Maddie, you good? You have a look on your face like. 20 came from the problem. 20 is what so 20 is what I plugged in, okay? All right, so you think you got it all figured out, and then you get to number 3. This is the cost that it they'll charge you to send mail. You know that the heavier your box weighs, your item weighs. I'm finding this out now because my daughter moved to Oklahoma and realized she forgot my Sperry's. I forgot this, and so like my box is like, okay, it's getting heavier and heavier. So the more your box that you're weighing, your mail that you're mailing weighs, the more you have to pay. It makes sense, right? So 1 ounce is going to cost you 37 cents. That's like a regular piece of paper, like 1 stamp will do it. 4 ounces is $1.06. 5 is $1.29. And you can't just go, oh, I'm just going to divide 106 by 4. Oh, it's going to cost 27 cents. Well, if that was the case, then all of these divided by these would give you the same amount, right? That only happens when it's 0, 0. So it must not be 0, 0. That's called proportional, right? This is not proportional. It's not going to go through the origin. So let's do what Anastasia said. Let's find how many this is going up by and find how many this is going up by. This is going up by 3. Ew. That's going up by 1. That's going up by 5. Not good, right? So that's why I'm so glad that Kayla said what she said, because you have another option. If it's not one of those obvious to you, then you have no choice. You have to do y minus y, x minus x. So I'm going to choose these 2 points. I'm going to write 1, 37 and 4, 106. I don't know about you, but I have to see them written next to each other in order to do it, so that way you can do this. So the difference in $1.06 and 37 cents divided by the difference in 4 minus 1. Okay? So this is going to give me 69 cents for 3 ounces. And when I divide that, I get 23 cents. And that is my what? What did I do all that for? Let's not lose track of what we're trying to do. That's our slope. Okay? And you still have to pick a point, right? So which point do you want? I know which one I want. I just want the 37 cents. 1, 37. So do you see that there's a little bit of pre-work before you can actually get to start to do the problem? So now I have my slope and my point. Go for it. Put it in point slope. Distribute. So y minus 0.23. And you have a calculator, so you can do, it's not fun working with decimals, but you just... And I fly through this part because I know you guys know how to do it. Okay? Oh, I did that last time too. That's 14 cents. Okay? So now, what this means is it's actually 23 cents per ounce, right? And there's a 14 cent fee for whatever they decide. There's those fees for everything. Get used to it, right? So your cost is actually equal to 23 cents. In this case, I probably wouldn't use O for ounce because it won't look like a 0. We'll just say W for weight. Yes. I haven't, to read it? Okay, I will. Right after. So now I need to figure out how many ounces if your cost was that. So I'm almost done, almost home free. I need to know, where do I put $7.73? Well, it's pretty obvious because I put the C, right? Cost dollars will always go in for your Y. So I'm going to put 773 equals going to run out of room, 23W plus 0.14. And so then you know what to do from here. You subtract your 14 cents, subtract 14 cents. That's going to give you $7.59. So we're looking to solve for W, right? 23. And that's going to give me 33 equals W. Whew, all that, almost done. What the heck did I just find? What did I ask? I was asked how many ounces your mail weighs if you handed over $7.73. Oh, so you know what might help me? My W is my X for weight, and my cost is always my Y. So for 33 ounces, it costs that. Woo! These are pretty deep problems, huh? Do you see how it requires so much pre-knowledge? If you were iffy on any of these steps along the way, let's just look for a second. How many different things were you taught before this? You were taught a formula, right? You need to know the slope formula. You need to know point slope form. You need to know point slope to slope intercept form. You need to know how to solve equations. This is it. This is real stuff. And if you guys are following it and getting the right answers, you are rocking out with it. You're doing really, really good. So just keep that in mind, okay? All right, good job.